What are you doing today? I believe it's Tuesday. The days all run together. Crystal and I work every day of the week and the month, but I believe it is Tuesday. So I hope everybody's having a fabulous Tuesday. I hope your week is going well. Mine is going pretty fucking phenomenal. I had some tabulistic workouts today so far. And let's see, I'm about close to 2 gallons of water in finally. I'm really getting ahead on that. I'm about to take my first dose of Alkemi. I did just eat about probably 3 ounces of ground beef just in a patty. Just because I pushed so hard, I wanted to have a little something on my stomach. But because I read my workouts were something serious today. Because my wife, by the way, is my coach, and her workouts are just fucking phenomenal. Her workout schemes are, for the average person, is what you need. Like, I'm not saying like we're going to be coaching anybody for powerlifting, but to get in really, really, really good shape, no matter what your age and stuff like that, as well as control your binge eating disorder, my wife is the fucking shit. For real. So smart. That was my first dose of Alkemi for the day. I will have my next dose of Alkemi here probably about 4. And after I'm done talking to you motherfuckers, I'm going to cook up a steak for her, some potatoes, and I'm probably going to have a few more beef patties. And then tonight, I am definitely feeling a protein pudding. We were going to have protein puddings last night, but no, for no fucking reason, our power went out. Because we live in Southwest Florida and we're still not all the way going up. We're still not all the way up repaired from last year's hurricane because, again, a Category 5 hurricane did fly directly over my fucking house last year. We played Jenga. It was fun. It was honestly like a month off. Like we still talk to clients every day, but it was like the first couple of days we just like slept and read books and shit. It was so nice. I know it sounds weird, but it was really fucking amazing. Anyway, Martina, how are you doing? Betsy, what's going on? Admiral, how are you? Swatstikin, Angel, how are you doing? Uncle John, Garlic Breath and Farts. Whatever you want to call yourself, that's fine. Fitter than your mom. I hope so. My mom's like 80 fucking 2, you know? Cactus Patch, Goblin Mode, Annie, Christian Real Life. Not that my mom's not in good shape. She's not in good shape because she's old. But you know what I'm saying? Like for her being 82, she's moving around. She walks and shit like that. Anyway, not that. Anna, what's up? Kaylee, how are you? Land Designer, what's going on? Sabrina. Chat Batman, how are you doing? Carlos, what's happening? Finally able to make a live. Giselle went from 249 to 174 in Majorno, and I've been maintaining since June. I fluctuate 5 to 10 pounds, not a significant gain. That is outstanding. I'm glad you didn't have any of the harsh side effects from it, and I'm happy that you have lost that weight. Everybody congratulate Giselle. That is an amazing weight loss. Make sure that you have yourself set up in a way to keep the weight off, like a good, healthy lifestyle. I do believe that is one of the very seriously hard issues with people, that they don't actually build a healthy lifestyle when they're on those things, partly because they eat whatever they can stomach because they get so nauseous. But great job. Very happy for you, Giselle. Holy Trinity weight loss package is being delivered early, 1:15 p.m. Outstanding, Nick. Again, here's how I would take that, by the way. For those people wondering, I would take a half tablet of Ember first thing in the morning instead of coffee normally. Just putting that out there because it is a strong, it has a kick to it. Like Ember has a fucking kick to it, for real. And I would take that with my multivitamin with Immortal, which is right over here. And then at midday, first dose of Alkemi and second half of that Ember tablet. And then for evening, before your evening meal, second dose of Alkemi and Nomorbidity. That's how I suggest you take it. You'll have no physical hunger. It'll be insane. You'll have no hunger. You'll have tons of energy. You'll feel like your body is just like a fucking processing machine with utilizing the nutrients that you eat. I'm telling you, it's fucking amazing. These guys are fucking geniuses. Fell down the stairs last night. My shoulder hurts, but I'm sure I have been way worse. I hope you're okay, Becky. My goodness, what the fuck? Looking slimmer. I feel like a fucking freight train. To tell you the truth, and I thank you. I guess Unless you meant it as an insult, then fuck you. I don't know. But no, I feel great. I'm definitely slimming down. Like I can definitely feel, I'm definitely losing some body fat. I have no physical hunger. Like I'm having to remind myself to eat and still maintaining my energy levels. Nomorbidity is amazing by itself. Of course, it actually just works on the biological mechanism of hunger, but blood sugar regulation, control, insulin sensitivity, controlling the glycemic response of food from Alkemi, just fucking top notch. I'm so fucking impressed. I mean, I know it sounds weird because I'm saying I'm impressed with the supplements I'm a part of, but Mark formulated them. I brought, like Crystal and I brought to the table, like, here is the need in the market. Here's what we need to look at. These are the things that the market needs. And to their credit, Sean, Mark, and Mike all like listened, and they came up with these two amazing, what I think is going to change the lives of tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people eventually, supplements, like super proud to be a part of it. Super proud. Lisa B, how you doing? Teresa, what's going on? Nikki Welch, how are you? Dory, Chat Batman, Giselle, you're very welcome. Phil, how you doing? Horse and Rider Wellness. What's up, motherfucker? Thank you. You didn't have a hurricane this year. Thankfully, we didn't. No, thankfully we didn't. We had a little bit of weather. I mean, it's still early, by the way. Let's not get ahead of ourselves because we didn't have the hurricane until October last year, and we didn't know we were getting hit with the hurricane until like 48 hours beforehand because all the models predicted it was going to hit Tampa, and then all of a sudden it shifted right. We weren't even in the cone. Like we weren't even in the fucking cone, and it shifted right. And they gave us we got an evacuation notice like 24 hours beforehand. Like we had 3 cats, and like there was no way we were leaving. Not only that, but like I live in Cape Coral. There's 3 roads to get out of here. I'm not getting stuck with it starting to hit because it hit 24 hours later. It started to hit like 8 hours later. I'm not getting stuck on a fucking bridge with that. We just hunkered down, and Crystal and I fucking had an amazing time. It was like a fucking vacation. Tigger, how you doing? Night Rose, what's going on? Loki Choki, Hannah, how are you? Awesome running and lifting session this morning. Outstanding morning. About to go for your walk. Outstanding. Bruce Lynn Reed. Bruce Lynn Reed. Every day. Nikki, Tifo, hi, made it here. Started an office job 8 to 5 and still getting 90 minutes of workouts a day. Tifo, that is outstanding. Congratulations. I mean, by the way, if any of you wanted to join the app to join me for my lives, I would love to have you. Here is how you can join just the app, the challenge. And that'll give you, whoa. I almost shared something I shouldn't have shared. Copy. There we go. And then we also have our 3-month package for our coaching and 6-month package for our coaching. Wow, lots of people. Hurricane Lee is possibly hitting us, Atlantic Canada, on Saturday morning. Not supposed to be as bad as Fiona. I mean, you never know. I got food poisoning a few weeks ago, hospitalized, have not been able to eat much since, worried as I am not overweight and have lost 10 pounds. Just try to eat what you can, especially focus on protein, healthy fats, try to get your amino acids and fatty acids back up. And here we go. We are going to talk about, thank you very much. Oh, wait, hang on. Can you still take Nomo while doing an extended fast for Yes, you can. There's no calories in it, but yes. Still on nutrient driver and have no hunger just with that. Almost done with it and ready to switch to Alkemi. It'll be crazy. Like it'll be crazy. Trust me, it'll be crazy. You like it. But here we go. We are about to talk about this new evidence. So now that I've said hi to everybody for a good almost 10 minutes, I have said for years now that ultra-processed foods are highly addictive. I have said for years that we should treat sugar with the same care as we do alcohol, that many people have a very serious addiction to sugar that does have deleterious effects to the body, including when they try to come off of it, they have very serious withdrawal symptoms. I have been told that I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I have been told that I'm not a doctor, I should shut up. I have been told that you can't be addicted to something that you have to do. I have been told all of these things many, many times. I'm going to take today to first and foremost, to tell anybody that like questioned me about it, I fucking told you so, bitches. How many times do I get to say that this year? Jesus fucking Christ. I know, like, why do people question? Like, I mean, I don't know, a different scenario, but I fucking told you so. We have the new data, the new evidence, not like this isn't like the old evidence, because this is just a systemic review of all the shit I read to come to my conclusion that ultra-processed foods is very bad for you and addictive. And they want it to be addictive. The reason why there is not some sort of outcry from the USDA, the FDA, and from other places, because trust on this, in other countries, ultra-processed foods are much, much different. They have much less artificial sweeteners. They have much less very seriously hard additives and stuff like that. Much less. The flour has much less gluten in it. So many things. There are ingredients that are in our food in America and the UK that most other places in Europe will not allow you to have, like the dyes and stuff like that. But just the ultra-processed food alone is designed to get you to want to eat more of it. They want you to. And our government, the FDA, the USDA, protects corporations, not people. Reality exists. Reality exists. I will debate this with any fucking buddy, any fucking where. I don't even need the fucking notes. I could just do this off the top of my dome. I'll shine that motherfucker up first and then fucking talk. Because I'm telling you right now, it is fucking clear as day. Well, apparently, people read all the research that I've been reading for years, finally, and they fucking decided to start talking about it. So we are going to go to the article and then give you some of the background stuff from it. But this is the article. This is from Science. This is from Scientific America. And let me blow this up a little bit so people can read. All right. This is from Scientific America. This is from September 11th. This is yesterday. Food can literally be addictive. New evidence suggests. Like, no fucking shit, bitches. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. Look how fat we are as people. Like, are you telling me that we couldn't piece this together? I mean, let's be real. I make this argument all the time because they're going to talk about sugar and cocaine. Okay. Just because I didn't want to fucking, get this monetized. So I'll just talk about sugar and cocaine. But cocaine in the leaf, like the coca plant, like people in Colombia have been chewing on it as a mild stimulant and diuretic for fucking hundreds of years. It is not addictive. They don't really have a problem with it. But when it is dried out, stripped down of all other nutrients and put into a condensed form, it enters the bloodstream quickly when ingested or exposed to internal membranes of the body. It enters the bloodstream quickly, has a very serious pleasure response in the brain, dopamine response in the brain, and causes people to ingest more and more and more of it to get the same effect, while it may even have deleterious effects on their lives, right? Now, sugarcane can be chewed on and it's not that big of a deal and it has fiber connected to it, everything like that. But when it is stripped of fiber, when it is stripped of all of the nutrients and condensed down to a powder or crystallized form, when you ingest it, it enters the bloodstream quickly, produces a dopamine effect and a pleasure response from the brain. And you need to ingest more and more and more of it in order to have the same effect. And people will continue to eat it, even though it has deleterious effect on the body. They will continue to seek out more and more of it, even though they know they can feel and know it has negative health effects on their body. That's a fucking drug. If you're going to call cocaine a drug, you should call sugar a drug. And sugar is marketed to fucking children mostly. And we just have a lot of adults with the same fucking habit. So basically a drug habit. And yes, and I've said this for years. I've said this for a long fucking time. I mean, it is so very clear to me. We had, I think it was like 5 years ago, Crystal and I had our first interaction with a sugar addict, like somebody that was truly addicted to sugar, like truly addicted to it. This woman went into fucking DTs. She went into detox, like alcoholism almost. Massive migraines, nausea, vomiting, irrational behavior, like had to like have somebody stay with her, like because she was eating like a pint of ice cream and almost exclusively drank sugared soda during the day. Like she was addicted to this shit, and her body went through massive, very serious withdrawals when she came off of it. That is addiction, okay? For this to even been questioned, for people to be saying, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, I would love to debate any fucking body, that sugar is not an addictive substance. You can fuck off. And people will be like, well, you can't be addicted to something you need. You do not need processed sugar. You do not need it. You do not need processed flour. You do not need it. You do not need it. Those are not food. Those are food products. They are refined. They are refined elements of food that are taken down and stripped of all nutrient value. You do not need them. You need amino acids and fatty acids. You definitely don't need flour, and you definitely don't need sugar. You don't. Now, carbohydrates and especially vegetables have a lot of phytonutrients, minerals, vitamins, stuff like that is needed. And fiber, I get that. However, you do not need sugar or flour. You do not need it. It is a food-like product that is being paraded as food. It's just insane. But here we go. We're now gonna go back to this. Sorry about that. Food can be literally addictive. New evidence suggests. Fuck you on your new evidence. Highly processed foods resemble drugs of misuse in a number of disturbing ways. Just like I fucking said for fucking years. So, let's see. I might have this. Oh, here we go. Given the option, most rats will choose sugar instead of cocaine. That's true. Okay. Now, people are like, oh, that's rats. Hey, if eight mice in a study can get the FDA to approve a new jibby jab for a cold, we should fucking maybe pay attention to this, should we not? I mean, if eight mice is good enough to approve an experimental gene therapy for use on fucking children and pregnant women, maybe we should fucking pay attention to this. Just saying. Their lust for carbohydrates is so intense that they will go as far as to self-administer electric shocks in their desperation to consume sugar. Rats aren't alone in this drive. Humans, it seems, do something similar. People who have had bariatric surgery sometimes continue to overindulge in highly processed foods. We see it all the fucking time. Those made from white flour, sugar, butter, and the like, even if it means later enduring vomiting and diarrhea. See that all the time. Daily snacking on processed foods, recent studies show, rewires the brain's reward circuits, and cravings for tasty meals light up the brain like a craving for cocaine do. So they've done the studies that they realize that the parts of the brain that when they are ingesting sugar light up the same way as when they're ingesting cocaine, but they're still, like, even in this article, because these are pussy ass bitches, are not willing to admit that it is actually addictive. Cravings for tasty meals light up the brain just like cravings for cocaine do, prompting some researchers to ask whether products such as fries or cookies can trigger addiction akin to the associated with drugs or alcohol. I think you fucking answered the question already. I mean, what the fuck? I think you fucking answered the absolute question already. Yet, the issue is by no means settled. Why the fuck not? An ongoing debate persists over whether these foods are truly addictive. They're not foods, first of all. They are food. They were refined food products. Just the same way, like, you can't call cocaine a plant. Coca leaf is a plant. Cocaine is the refined product from that. Sugar is the refined product from sugarcane. Reality exists. Processed foods might provoke compulsive behaviors that reinforce the need to consume more, but do they really have mood-altering effects? Well, we know that when people ingest sugar, that they have a dopamine response in the brain, which is the happy sensors. I mean, come on now. Another criterion used to define the addiction. Yes, it does. Answers to these questions, damn it. Here we go. Answers to these questions are complicated by the enormous variety of foods we consume. There is no single opiate-like substance that can be identified as leading someone to become a food addict. Sugar. Sugar. One more time, I'll say it. Sugar. Arguments in favor of food addiction suggest that if carbohydrates and fats are together in unnaturally large doses, this creates a rapid delivery system for nutrients that results in physiological effects of the brain's reward system that resemble those produced by cocaine or nicotine. I mean, but yet we're still not able to say it for some reason. Like you're still not able to fucking actually admit it, because this would mean that the USDA has been suggesting highly addictive substances to the entirety of the population in large fucking quantities for years. For years. Decades. They've gotten most of the population hooked on this shit. Most of the population has problems with either sugar or ultra-processed foods. 60% of the 60% of the nutritional intake of the caloric intake for the population of America, 57.9%, I believe it is ultra-processed foods. 57.9 of the caloric intake is literally ultra-processed foods. Fucking insane. 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 Arguments in favor of food addiction suggest that it's I've already read that. To examine this effect, actual behaviors, researchers developed a measure to examine the strong pull of highly processed foods exerts on humans. In 2009, the Yale Food Addiction Scale emerged. It is used to assess whether a person's display behaviors patterns that would merit fries, shakes, and other palatable foods being classified as addictive substances. Using this measure technique, a 2022 meta-analysis suggested that 20% of the adults are addicted to food. People in this group, and I'm going to argue they're not addicted to food. They're addicted to food-like products. I'm going to argue that they are addicted to food-like products. The problem is they're conflating food and food-like products. They're pretending that these highly refined, ultra-processed foods that have almost no nutritional value and obviously very clear deleterious effect on the body, because again, we know that they have very serious negative effects on cognitive behavior and executive function of the brain. We know that they have an effect on all-cause mortality. We know that they have a very serious effect on cardiovascular disease. We know that they have a very serious effect on liver disease, on type 2 diabetes, on all metabolic issues. We know these things. We know that they have very serious deleterious effect to all of these things, as well as causing the vast majority of obesity. We know these things. We know them. But we still are not ready to say this. They're still pussyfooting around it. It is insane. They experience, okay, so people in this group go out of their way to obtain their favorite foods and often eat to the point of feeling physically ill. That happens to Americans daily. They experience withdrawal, fail to quit eating certain foods, and continue their consumption patterns despite adverse consequences. You get fat as fuck and you can't even see your penis, but you're still fucking eating sugar and donuts every goddamn day. You have a hard time getting up in the morning. You're put on type 2 diabetes medications such as metformin and insulin, and you are still eating fucking sugar. You know that's what got you there. You know it. Like, I mean, reality exists. You know it. This is why I just call bullshit on the entire fat acceptance community and shit like that, because they know what got them there. No, none of these people are 300 fucking pounds because they fucking eat too many veggies and steak. None. This many fucking people are that big because of that. This many. But these people will act like addicts. They are addicts. That's why they are in complete denial of their addiction. That's why they viscerally react like they can't do anything about it. It's because they're addicted. It's because we are literally placating their addiction. We are coddling their addiction instead of making them face it and helping them face it. That's what Crystal and I do. We help people adjust their lifestyle to a healthier one. It is absolutely 100% true. Anybody that's trying to say, I'm fat and I love my life the way this is, no, you fucking don't. You know you are abusing yourself with these foods almost on a daily fucking basis. People are like, I don't even eat that much. Yes, you fucking do, and you know it. You eat a lot of this shit. These are all criteria set up by the Yale Food Addiction Scale, which is adapted from measures used to gauge substance use disorders. The definition of food addiction is separate from obesity. Surprisingly, many people who tick the boxes of food addiction maintain a typical weight. That's not always true, because they're trying to make sure that they don't upset the fucking fatties. If anything, food addiction is the closest cousin to binge eating disorder. I don't we have several people that are recovering binge addicts that are at a healthy weight, like myself. But if you're still binging, most of the time you end up big. It says Alexandra, I'm not going to pronounce that name, a neuroscientist at the Fralin Biomedical Research Institute of Virginia Tech, Carleon, both cause people to exhibit a lack of control in the way food is consumed, but these definitions for a substance use disorder also includes cravings, withdrawal symptoms, and continued use despite negative consequences, which people absolutely do with sugar. They absolutely do with sugar. Crystal and I will be like, hey, don't have any processed sugar. They will seek out the fucking sweetest shit. All of a sudden, it becomes banana and pineapple, every fucking thing. Every motherfucking thing. Critics of this research suggest you can't be addicted to something that is essential to life. Processed foods are not essential to your life. You fuckhead. Whoever wrote that, processed foods are not essential to your life. Amino acids, fatty acids are essential to your life. Electrolytes are essential to your life. Ho-hos are not essential to your fucking life. Pizza is not essential to your fucking life. Donuts are not essential to your life. It is the conflation of food-like products with food. Food is essential to your life. Food-like products are something that was introduced in a much higher prevalence about 40 or 50 years ago. And oh my God, look at what happened 40 or 50 years ago. Obesity started skyrocketing. Diabetes started skyrocketing. Cardiovascular disease started skyrocketing. And you know what else started skyrocketing? The profits from the healthcare industry and the pharmaceutical industry to treat all of these motherfucking things. It is not essential to life. There's no, ultra-processed foods are not fucking essential. They are that is like saying that, that's so ridiculous to me. It is such a very serious conflation. What's more, while science has pinpointed nicotine in cigarettes and ethanol in wine or beer as a substance responsible for keeping people hooked, no such clear-cut evidence exists for food. It's very difficult to prove that there are these nutrients in food that directly cause addiction. Sugar! Sugar directly causes addiction. Sugar does. This guy, I bet you money, this university that Johannes Heber of Essen, Germany, and that dude have taken money from the pharmaceutical industry or big food. I guarantee it. Yet Ashley Gerhard, a clinical psychologist at the University of Michigan, argues that highly processed foods are vastly different from what our ancestors used to consume. Holy shit, a voice of fucking reason. Foods that are very high in fat and carbohydrate in a kind of an equal ratio, they don't exist naturally, she said. It's something that's designed by food scientists in a laboratory to look a certain way, feel a certain way in your mouth, smell a certain way when you open the package. A 2021 study showed, for example, that people with binge eating disorder exclusively overeat ultra-processed foods. People aren't losing control over beans. So she's been watching my content because I've said that for fucking ever. Early research on rats suggests that sucrose keeps animals hooked. They want more and more and more. Each day they'll show signs of cravings, says Nicole Avena, neuroscientist in the Icahn School of Medicine in Mount Sinai. Sugars are present in many natural foods, from bananas to beets. Yet, as Avena points out, it is all about packaging. A piece of fruit, she says, has the appropriate amount of sugar in it based on how much fiber it contains. Also, it has other nutrients that are going to minimize and mitigate the effect of the sugar might have on our brain. What matters, the scientists urge, is the dosage and the speed of absorption of the substance. Most people don't consume pure ethanol, for example. Instead, they opt for wine or beer, which contains a small amount of the addictive substance. Most beer is more than 90% water. Similarly, few of us indulge in sucralose by the spoonful. Nicotine also mixes with other ingredients and is carefully dosed. It is naturally present in eggplants and tomatoes, but you won't become an addict by indulging in vegetables. Because nicotine is in tomatoes and eggplants, just in case you didn't know. And by the way, it sounds like it's about the thunderstorm here. If power goes out or I lose you motherfuckers, sorry. But we did just not have power yesterday, so I'm expecting it to happen again. But here we go. When it comes to ultra-processed snacks, sugar often goes together with fat, a combination that could make such foods even more addictive. A 2018 study by name I can't pronounce, because of my ADHD, and her colleagues showed that compared with equally caloric foods containing only fat or only a carbohydrate, those made of both ingredients are far more efficient at activating the stratum, a part of the brain's reward center that is implicated in addictions. For a 2023 study, the same person and her colleagues randomly assigned 82 people to snacks and either high-fat, high-sugar yogurts or low-sugar, low-fat ones in 8 weeks. The scientists discovered not only that the first group preferences for the healthier yogurts decreased after the trial, but their brain activation patterns changed too. When they tasted fatty, sugary milkshakes, those who had been indulging in high-fat, high-sugar snacks had an increased response in their reward circuits, including the stratum. Ultra-processed foods are hijacking the brain in a way you'd see with addiction to drugs, as I have fucking said. As I've fucking said many goddamn times. One of the hallmarks of drug addiction, she says, is the release of dopamine in the brain's reward center. The potency of fat, sugary treats in triggering this release was highlighted in a 2023 study, which scientists used post-treatment emission tomography on a small sample of volunteers. The results showed that indulging in milkshakes leads to a significant release of dopamine. In healthy people, that can be about 1/3 of what it usually sees with amphetamines, a group of highly addictive stimulant drugs, which is called speed. The addictive potential of ultra-processed foods may not relate just to dopamine. However, a 2023 study revealed the importance of the cannabinoid receptor 2, CB2, in getting hooked on certain foods, in this particular case, chocolate-flavored pellets, because the subjects were mice. Rodents lacked these receptors in the brain, are not only less likely to become addicted to cocaine or alcohol, the research showed, but also less prone to food addiction and finding a way for new pathways. Research on weight loss drugs provided further evidence that overeating a substance misuse may share common brain processes. Semaglutide, of course, we gotta have a fucking ad for semaglutide. Induces weight loss by mimicking the insulin increased gut hormone glucagon-like peptide 1, and it could potentially aid those struggling with various addictions too. Animal experts suggest, for example, that it can be reduced the dependence on cocaine and opioids. I would argue that the increased amount of insulin that your body goes through is going to have such a deleterious effect that you're better off with something of more natural thing to control your insulin sensitivity and your blood sugar levels, like Alkemi or Nomorbidity. What's more, both illegal drugs and processed foods can induce cravings in the same reward areas of the brain, as demonstrated by a 2023 functional magnetic resonance imaging, fMRI study, when researchers showed pictures of cocaine to drug addiction or photos of donuts to healthy people. The same brain regions ranging from the ventral stratum and amygdala to the cerebellum lit up in both groups. And the stronger the volunteers' reported craving was, the more intense their neural response was. Withdrawal symptoms, another classic feature of addiction, also seems to be present in connection with ultra-processed foods. While it's unlikely that anyone experiences physical shakes from quitting cookies, bullshit, I've fucking seen it. Bull fucking shit, I've seen it. Parents who attempt to restrict their children's intake of sugar sweetener drinks have reported symptoms such as headaches, irritability, and social withdrawal in their kids because we're marketing drugs to fucking children. It's called sugar. Similarly, adolescents instructed to abstain from their high intake of sodas for 3 days complain of decreased motivation and ability to concentrate, along with increased headaches. Critics, and now imagine people that drink 2 liters, 4 liters of soda a day, because that fucking happens. Imagine them trying to quit that shit. Critics of the idea of certain foods may be addictive point out that treats such as burgers don't induce the same kind of high that one might experience on opioids or alcohol. This is totally missing. This is totally missing in all food addiction stories. He said, for her part, Gerhardt is not convinced. By that principle, cigarettes are not addictive, right? You can drive your car while you smoke a cigarette. You can watch your children while you smoke a cigarette, she says. She points out studies indicate that chocolate does have a psychoactive effect and can induce feelings of euphoria at least as much as intravenous nicotine gives to smokers. It's real. I mean, it's been real. They just are in denial because they are in the fucking pockets of big food and pharma. Reality. In 2022, these people published an opinion piece it's an opinion piece. We're not even going to worry about it. They started an opinion piece on addiction, arguing that highly processed food should be classified as addictive. Based on a 1988 Surgeon General report on tobacco products that documented outlined scientific evidence behind cigarettes' addictive nature, including their psychoactive effects and potential to trigger compulsive use. Similar evidence, these scientists argue, already exists for ultra-processed foods. If we apply the same criteria to the specific class of foods, it meets every single checkbox. Every single checkbox. This guy worries, however, that rushing to classify certain foods as addictive will affect his bottom line. I mean, could let the sugar industry off the hook too easy. They can always say, well, that's a matter of debate. We don't know if it really exists. He said, the industry has already sponsored research that argues against it. Oh, the sugar industry sponsoring research. By the way, the sugar industry is subsidized by the federal government by $4 billion of taxpayer money a fucking year. It's a travesty. It's fucking criminal. And it is criminal. But they've already sponsored stuff on sugar addiction, suggested maybe followed by the playbook of the tobacco industry. After all, nicotine wasn't a clear cut. I mean, and by the way, doctors used to recommend that cigarettes were good for you. They were healthy for you. They actually would help with your lungs. They argued that for a long time. You know why? Because the tobacco industry funded all the studies and paid the fucking doctors. Reality exists. As a result, with the help of tobacco industry, the addictive nature of tobacco was denied for decades. Considering ultra-processed foods' detrimental health effects, a 2021 meta-analysis showed such products raise mortality risk by 25%. Argues that it could be better to chance misclassifying ultra-processed foods as addictive than to fail to label them as such. It's cigarettes all over again. And I just want to say, I fucking told you so. I am going to literally, just in case anybody wants to go read that themselves and follow up with the studies that are held within. Please go. Feel free to read, and I highly suggest everybody does. But if you yourself are having an issue when it comes to addiction to these things, if you know you have a problem, and you know you do, one, we help with our coaching. We help people break these addictive cycles by building healthy habits. We help the person wean off of things. We treat it like it's addiction. I've said for years, it's even in one of my books, treat sugar the same care you would with alcohol. Treat it with the same care you would with alcohol. And we help people with that. So here's the link for our coaching. We have some slots available for our both 6-month and for our 3-month coaching slots. Boom, right here. But also, if you just want to try to help escape your sugar addiction, here is where you can get Alkemi, Tiger Fitness, and you can get the Holy Trinity Weight Loss Bundle. Here is where you can get Alkemi, Nomorbidity, and the Holy Trinity Weight Loss Bundle at Tiger Fitness and at, whoops, I just put that in twice. Boom. There you go. This is where you can get Alkemi at both Tiger Fitness and at Ambrosia Collective. That's where you can get Nomorbidity at the Ambrosia Collective, and the Holy Trinity Weight Loss Bundle, which gives you a massive savings on Ember, Nomorbidity, and Alkemi altogether. Massive savings. So now let's do some Q&A. I'll catch up. I saw a bunch of people talking. If you asked a question or made a statement, just go ahead and redo it. I'm going to start right up here. In Overeaters Anonymous, we literally compare certain foods to alcohol or drugs. For many of us, it's sugar and white flour that triggers our addiction and compulsory to overeat. No joke, this stuff. It's because white flour does the same thing. White flour gets into your system, causes a serious spike in insulin, and I mean it processes very quickly. It is very deleterious for you. It should be treated with very much care. One of the things I do every single year is I talk about 15 days to slow the spread of obesity. And 15 days to slow the spread of obesity is basically 15 days of only whole foods. No sugar, no processed carbohydrates of any kind. You eat beef, chicken, pork, fish, and vegetables. That's it. And I don't even give a fuck what vegetables and fruits, right? Try to make it so the fruits are at the end of the day, because that's a sweet thing at the end of the day. That way it's not going to trigger your hunger response all day long. Try to start your day off with as much protein as possible, maybe some eggs and a steak. And then for your midday meal, if you eat 3 meals a day, maybe another, like a piece of, like a nice chicken thigh and some peppers or something like that. And for your evening meal, you can have a potato and some more peppers or broccoli and a piece of fish, and then have a piece of fruit in the evening. That is food. That is eating food. The very second you go and you buy a sandwich for breakfast, you are eating ultra-processed foods with a lot of sugar in them. And you are starting this fucking thing every single day. But go 15 days without it. Do you know the response I get for 15 days to slow the spread of obesity from people? 15 days to slow the spread of obesity from a lot of people, they look at me like I'm fucking crazy. They act like they cannot possibly do it. They cannot possibly do it. So if you can't do it because it's convenience, you need to figure out a better way to spend your time. But if you can't do it because you can't say no to those things, you have a fucking addiction. I want all of you to sit back and think. Could you just not eat sugar for a month? No, nothing with processed sugar in it at all. Nothing with ultra-processed food at all. Could you just not eat ultra-processed foods at all for a month? If the answer is no, you can get our coaching, or you can get Alkemi right up here and Nomorbidity together. It'll help you kick that habit. But I'm telling you right now, if you could not possibly go without eating ultra-processed foods for a month because you know that shit will be calling to you, you have an addiction. It is going to eventually fuck your life up. We can help you. And I mean it. I absolutely mean it, 100%. Sugar is in the same class as fentanyl. I can see it. I wish I was a year or more true addiction. I always appreciate the diligence of keeping up with the research that you do, Alan. Thank you. Thank you very much. I love reading research. I think that's one of the things that separates Crystal and I. That we really want to know this shit works. Like I don't want any ingredients and any supplements that I'm a part of that don't have very serious, like robust human trials and human studies. Like that's what we do, you know? And I love reading about them. Alan, getting excited about health. I'm always excited about health. It's what I do. So in baking, what type of flour should we use? Why bake? I mean, don't bake for a little while. You don't need flour. You really don't. You don't need baked goods. You don't need them. They should be they should be taken in maybe a very, very, very small. I normally say 5 to 10% of your total daily caloric intake, but even then, that is just for pleasure. Like if you're going to bake once a week, I would use oat flour, not gluten. I would use oat flour, and just Crystal grinds it herself and do that, because I still think it has an effect, just not as much, and just no processed sugar in it at all. But I would pull back on that sort of thing. I really would. Make America healthy again. Goddamn right. I'm currently on day 10 of doing that, but without the fruit. Outstanding. It should be common sense, not a challenge. I know, Anaya. I know. But people push back so hard on me, it's fucking crazy. I'm starting round 5 of the 15 days to slow the spread of obesity. Made a little birthday challenge program out of it. Bam! That's fucking great. Hell yeah. Great job. Only eat seasonal fruits. They are not around long. Also, I agree with that. Seasonality of fruits is very important. Hey, Alan, how's your day going? Fucking awesome. I enjoy the show. Can you send a link to your book that is working for me? I've lost 3 pounds since the last week. Sure. Give me 1 second. Let me find the link to Beyond Willpower. Beyond Willpower also gives you the app for a month too. I don't know what I did with it. Give me a second. Notes list. Here we go. This is our book, Beyond Willpower. It gives you access to the app for a month. You can even still join our live classes and pre-recorded classes. Bang, right there. There you go. Outstanding, outstanding, outstanding. All right. So let's keep the questions coming. I'm plant-based and I've cut my carbs and I'm sugar-free. It can be done. Outstanding. Good for you. I completely reversed obesity. That's fucking awesome. Everybody congratulate Jet Batman. Great job, motherfucker. Sugar triggers mesolimbic dopamine system. Dopamine release and a body thinks it was a positive. Then they chase the high. Just like drugs. Thank you, Lisa. I appreciate you. Real food only. Hell yeah. I can't even look at chips in the grocery store. I hear you. Trying to eliminate all sugars from my house. I have 6 kids at home, so I am meeting a resistance from them. I am responsible for what they eat and what I eat. I buy the food. So, Nikki, me and you can talk about this on the app because one of the things we try to do is we try to help the entire family because that's the best way for the actual person. But I'm a big believer that kids should not be eating sugar on a daily basis. Because I mean, I'm gonna tell you this right now. I've been ADHD obviously my whole life, and one of the things I think that made it very, very hard for me when I was in middle school and high school was I started my day off with sugary cereal with a little bit extra sugar on top, a glass of orange juice and whole milk. So I'm 100 grams of sugar in before I leave the fucking house. For somebody like me, I don't need that shit. I don't need that type of fucking boost, and it made it hard to concentrate, stuff like that. I think that you'll find it better off. I do suggest that you look for the seasonal fruit, or even if you want to, dried fruit, because it still has the fiber involved in it, and it has a little sweeter taste to it. Switch to that instead of candy. That might help out a little bit. But we'll talk more in the app and at our consult. Okay. I'm in the process of reversing it. Hell yeah, you are, Tigger. I may just doze off for a bit. I'll need to go back and rewatch. It's canning season, so that means canning at night when it cools off and I can open the windows. Oh, well, please do watch. Question now. I live up north and it's getting colder and I'm already missing the summer. Do you have any tips to beat seasonal depression? Yes, I do. Make sure you are still getting out in the sun as much as you can. If not, maybe get some red light therapy. It helps out with that a lot. You need UV rays. It helps with your circadian rhythm and stuff like that. And try to increase your physical activity. But that is a great question. I will do a whole video about that. So let me take a picture of that actually. Thank you. I will do a whole video about that for you, not that, Anna. Probably not a live, but a whole video. I meal prep on Sunday, so I have food to eat throughout the week. If you can make it a month, eating whole foods, your palate will adapt. Yes, it will. Yes, it will. Real ingredients do not need labels. It's something I need to do again, but it works. Did a version of that called the Daniel fast. Literally whole foods only, nothing processed or added sugars, and drank only water. It works. I'm telling you, it works. Do it for a month. It'll help rewrite how your body treats your food. It might suck for the first fucking couple weeks. I'm telling you, Nomorbidity and Alkemi can help you get through that month, and you just go on whole foods when you're on it. That's how I would prefer people use Nomorbidity and Alkemi. I prefer people use these as tools to build a healthier lifestyle, to get past your sugar cravings, to get past your carb cravings, to get past the massive amount of hunger that people normally feel because they have been ingesting these things. Use these two things as tools to build a healthier lifestyle. And then if you still have trouble by managing and you don't know how to build these habits, that's when you can come to Crystal and I for coaching. And again, I'm going to post that up right here. Here's the challenge. There we go. If you wanted to bake, just bake roast fruit, caramelized yummies. I love baked fruit. I can't even have baked plantains in the house because I will overindulge on them. That's how good I think they are. Imagine eating 50 grams of sugar a year, not every day. Yeah, for real. No shit. I mean, 50 grams of added sugar because fruit has sugar in it, but you know what I'm saying. So, I listen to the lectures on podcasts all day. Currently focused on fasting and reversing insulin resistance. Before that, it was psychology courses. You want to reverse insulin resistance? Right here. It has been shown to help reverse insulin resistance. NC2 has helped reverse prediabetes and type 2 diabetes. I don't bake, honestly. I was just asking occasional stuff. I like it. Thank you. I lost 16 pounds by cutting out processed carbs and almost all sugars. Still have 30 to go. I have PCOS and take inositol. Very good ingredient, by the way. But considering Alkemi now, Alkemi I think will do better for you. But you can take your inositol with Alkemi also because there's not inositol in Alkemi. Possibly in something future that we do. But Alkemi will definitely help you out, Sally. I mean, if you have PCOS, it will help you out. It's better. It shows to be good for insulin resistance. It has a concentrated form of berberine in it. Berberine has been shown to be more effective for PCOS than even metformin, especially because it doesn't have the same side effects. So please do check it out. And for those of you that are wondering, you can get Alkemi right here at Tiger Fitness and at Ambrosia Collective. Bam. Let's see. Chicken powder for carnivore recipes. I've heard that before too. I just had a convo with somebody the other day, and they just wanted to believe that I don't want processed sugar in my diet forever. They didn't want to believe why, but why would you want it? People got to start understanding. There are people that have very serious problems with this, like very serious. You know, as the saying goes, it does not pay to be healthy. No, it doesn't pay the pharmaceutical industries. I do OMAD and keto. What can I do to help my weight loss? Well, I mean, if you do OMAD already, like you still need to you just need to reduce your calories down. I mean, it's such a broad statement. You can be in a caloric deficit. You can increase your caloric burn a little bit, decrease your caloric intake a little bit. But if you already do OMAD and keto, which means you're not eating any processed foods, I mean, you should be honestly. I mean, how much are you eating at one sitting? You know, and how sedentary are you? For the person who's looking, here is the Beyond Willpower, our book Beyond Willpower. We'll get you the app for a month too. You can even join the challenge if you would like. Please do check that out. Here we go. All right. Did you notice the number of big pharma that contributed to? Did you notice the number of big pharma that contributed to the study? Maybe a new drug in the future to deter cravings for sugar, fat loss, Narcan for sugar. They're just going to say that semaglutide is going to do it. They're already trying to say that semaglutide helps with addiction. They're already trying to say it. The withdrawal when cutting out processed foods is a scary ride. It took me about 2 months to clear that bend. Never planned on touching any processed food again. Outstanding, Erica. Outstanding. Alan, have you heard you should not stretch before working out? So when should you stretch? I don't really stretch. I do full movement. I don't actually just sit and stretch. I warm up by doing like movement. I don't actually stretch out. But I do try to incorporate yoga whenever possible. That keeps me very limber. Not that I've heard people say I can't do yoga because I'm not flexible. That's why you should fucking do yoga. Yoga helps build muscle, but it also helps build muscles in a different, like it hits your muscles in a different way than you're going to have with weights, but it also helps incredibly with mobility. That's what I would suggest. And we do have like a 15-minute yoga cool down on our app for people. Thank you. There are some great carnivore recipes for treats. I did Jello recipe with beef gelatin. Yeah, hell yeah. There was no greater ego boost health-wise than when I was able to lose enough flab and replace it with enough hard-earned defined muscle. Great fucking job. Even though your pictures every fucking day freak me the fuck out. So, but thank you. And dried fruit has more sugar. No, it has the same amount of sugar as the fruit had. It still has the fiber. It does not have more sugar. If you dry the fruit yourself, it doesn't create more sugar. That's not true. It can be more concentrated, absolutely, but it still has fiber. Dates rolled in coconut is a great treat. I agree with that. Here is the challenge in 3-month coaching, 6-month coaching. We can help you build healthier habits. If you know your habits are fucked up, especially going into the gluttony season of all these holidays, we can help you get through the holidays without gaining a bunch of weight, even lose some weight, build healthier habits. So instead of gaining that 10 to 15 pounds you gain every single year, you can lose a little bit of weight and then continue on when the holiday season is over, getting to a healthy weight, staying at a healthy weight. I'm a calories in, calories out fundamentalist. How could the laws of thermodynamics fail? Now, don't get me wrong. For the people that are going to argue against that, I am too. But the calories out is dependent on how some of the calories in are, because calories in cause different types of inflammation, different types of hunger, different types of everything like that. So there's a lot that goes into both sides, right? But if you are not losing weight, it's because you are always ingesting more calories than you are burning. Now, how many calories you burn could be affected by what you eat also. It can be affected by the activity you do and what you eat also, the amount of lean muscle mass you have, so many things, your hormone levels, your cortisol levels. Being in a chronic inflammatory state, which ultra-processed foods do put you in, does in fact increase your cortisol levels. So there is something to be said with not all calories are the same and not all exercise is the same, but the law of thermodynamics does not fail. I agree with you. In junior high, we had a soda machine all through the school. That's fucking ridiculous. I could drink Coke all day. That was about 20 years ago. I believe they have pulled them out. I have heard dried fruit is bad. Is freeze-drying fruit better? Why is dried fruit bad? I don't understand. You should still eat it later on in the day. You shouldn't eat it earlier because it still has the taste of sweet, and it actually has a condensed taste of sweet. But it is not like it is just it's still fruit. I said it because she's trying to get her children off of candy and sugar, and dried fruit has a very sweet flavor to it. It doesn't have more sugar than candy. Now, if you have a problem with sugar, you probably should, if you have a problem with sugar, oftentimes you should watch the type of fruit you actually ingest. Stay away from very ripe bananas. Stay away from pineapple. They taste really sweet and oftentimes trigger people that have sugar addiction. Question: would it be better to take Alkemi the same time daily at 12 or 5, or truly right before you start eating? I take mine the same time daily, but I'm pretty diligent with when I eat. But I do think that if you eat around that area, as long as it's more important to remember to take it. That seems to be the issue with a lot of people. They forget to take supplements, I ate 15 peaches and a watermelon this year. I also indulge. Okay. I am needing to make my blood sugar is pushed down before I check the blood. Sounds good. Rough day, new client on dialysis and has to close his business and has to work through his own mortality. Please take care of your bodies. Man, I'm sorry. I'll send you a message, bro. I found a wild berry bush in my back property yesterday. That's candy. That is candy. I recently learned from More Plates, More Dates that depending upon your genetics and activity, you could sweat out 1,300 to 40,100 milligrams of sodium. Yeah, the whole sodium scare, and I fell for it for a long time too. Your body has a mechanism to get rid of excess sodium. You sweat it out. The problem is people will eat a lot of sodium that aren't active and they don't actually sweat out. Like that's a huge problem with that too. Like sometimes if I have a higher sodium meal, and because I'm drenched in sweat at least twice a day, like I'm talking dripping. If you would join me for my my workouts, you would see I'm just dripping in sweat at least twice a day. And some days, if I've had a higher sodium meal the day before, I can taste it almost. Like I can taste it higher, you know? Chris, when I was in 3rd grade, our teacher would give us a piece of candy in the afternoon. It was called a pick-me-up. Jesus fucking Christ. Got to be careful with keto. It has some frankenfoods too. Yes. Keto, paleo are perfectly like good methods of eating. Paleo is like just how we should eat, frankly. Like just don't eat processed foods, motherfuckers. Like it's not fucking hard. But obviously people need to make money, so they make paleo bars and keto bars and candy bars and shit like that. It's fucking crazy. My whole workplace is filled with junk food. No, I hate that for you. I absolutely hate that for you. I don't believe Wegovy helps with addiction. I watch my friends eat sugar on it every day. They're just trying to market it that way. They're going to try to say it's good for everything. Novo Nordisk is the largest pharmaceutical company, or it's the largest company. Novo Nordisk is the largest company in Europe right now. Facts. Crazy, right? Crazy, right? Let's see. All right, I'm scrolling down, get the last little bit. How much more additives can products take before it is just a warning label for a cancer or something like that? They won't put a warning label on that motherfucker. They will not. They won't even think about it. I meant to say 4,100. That's what I thought too. I was just saying that's what I thought. All right, guys. I'm over an hour. Thank you for joining. I appreciate it. I really do. Here's where you can get Alkemi and Nomorbidity at Tiger Fitness and at the Ambrosia Collective. And again, here is where you can join the challenge, which joins the app. You get to use the app and join us for live and pre-recorded classes. Please do check that out. But we also have a couple slots available for our 3 months and 6 months coaching to help you get through gluttony season. If you are already worried about putting weight on, if you're already worried about like you're losing control because you know you have a bunch of parties coming up, we can help you control that and build healthier habits through the holiday season so you don't gain that weight. Thank you very much, all of you. Have a great day.